also getting a bottle from draining the swamp initially. So uh, we'll make an even greater value right there with Kakariko Village being able to check Bug Boy.
Yeah, being able to clear a whole Kakariko is really great. Especially 1 minute and 30 in. And looks like he's already heading there. Or he's maybe taking a peek to Lumberjack first.
Might take a peek at Lumberjack, and it's the good bee in the bottle. If only he would have saved that, he could send that out to the bottle vendor for some rupees real quick. Instead, he's going to try to farm up some here, but shouldn't be a problem with a couple of tree poles that he has. We'll see if Aga will end up being required. Oh, what was that? I didn't quite see it.
Here we get a second peek, and I couldn't see it either.
I think that's the validation arrow. So guess what? Aga absolutely required. Not really, but we can hope.
And there's the blue male in the forest hut.
I'm not gonna lie, this Ghost Link outline is really messing with me a little bit here.
It's really hard to track it. He really looks really invisible.
No, I mean, way to go, programmers, programming something that is even more confusing to us. And a map check, I saw 2 at Hera, 7 at Eastern. I think it was a crystal down uh, at the Desert Palace, but wasn't sure.
There we go. Blind's house being the first thing to check in Kakariko. Let's see what we get.
Interesting that they didn't go and try to buy bombs right away first, but maybe hoping for a bomb pull. Lots of rupees, so this is a money house so far.
And the powder!
Early fetch quests.
This seed is giving him a lot of safety right at the bat, though.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's the blue mail. You're getting the cape. Not a ton of hearts. Oh, and the fire rod. The bottle vendor actually has value and something of worth early on. That'll be nice.
At least we're not getting the usual life lessons for once. That's great.
It is nice, but we still have Zora giving us the big life lessons later, perhaps. Now it'll be interesting because Yoshimitsu already has a bottle. He'll be able to go ahead and check Sick Kid early, whereas SDiezal doesn't have a bottle quite yet. So SDiezal might miss out on a decent item here, depending on what Yoshi pulls.
Oh, just a big 20.
Just 20 rupees. The most common item in the game. Lots of money for both players so far. I know and Yoshi gets the chicken in the bombable wall.
So we got a really early fire rod, so I'm wondering if one of these two players are actually going to take a real early peek at Skull Woods as soon as we get Dark World access.
It wouldn't really surprise me to see an early Skull Woods check, just because Skull Woods has had so much value in this tournament so far. Meanwhile, SDiezal pulling the Power Glove. That might indicate early Death Mountain, perhaps, if we can find the lamp.
That would be possible, or maybe the backside of the castle having something as well. Who knows?
That might be good. a play that a lot of people end up making is that backside of escape right after they get the power glove. There's some high value that can be there.
I really like how both players just came back to the hut just to blow up a wall.
Well, I don't think Diesel had actually visited yet, so this was his first go into it.
Yeah, the cape has been in Link's house right away. So Chad, with us already having the power gloves and the fire rod, what do you think is gonna be the one item that our players are gonna take a long time to find?
And I was wrong. Pendant down in Desert Palace. I'll tell you what, Faye. I think for some odd reason, I think the cane is going to be the most difficult thing for this time. Call it a hunch. I don't know. What do you think?
Since we don't know about Dark World yet, that's kind of hard to tell. But I'm gonna say it's gonna be the flute to get into Mire.
That would be pretty trolly. And there's a sword up on the ledge, so both our players are going to go ahead and do the maze race game. And we got some fans in chat. We have people pulling for both Yoshimitsu and Diesel. Give it up for these runners here. Give them a follow if you haven't already, both SDiezal and Yoshimitsu. While you're at it, also give our wonderful team here a follow. Isolated 999 on Tracker, and Clifford is our restreamer. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, it's really great how many of these secondary matches we can actually restream due to all these people behind the scenes. It's amazing.
And with that sword, that'll make getting into Mini Moldorm Cave and clearing that out a little bit easier. So we're seeing Yoshi head that way. Diesel is going to go ahead and take out the dam, which Yoshi has already gotten. Unfortunately, that means Diesel's eventually going to have to go back for Bug Kid. Not that there's any value there, but we'll see him make that routing choice at some point.
I mean, the good thing is at some point they will definitely revisit Kakariko, so he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, one way or the other. We'll see what Mini Moldorm Cave has. The bow! Wow! So we have an early bow pull from Mini Moldorm Cave. Does this indicate to you that you might want to head over to Eastern Palace early? Because you can go ahead and clear it out, and it's a crystal?
It seems like it. And at least we don't have to worry about anything like a Palace of Darkness, bow-locked dungeon or anything like that.
Being bow locked is one of the more annoying things that I've always found. Just because there's weird things that happen with being bow locked. Diesel is actually doing a route divergence. Instead of going over to Mini Moldorm, is checking out the Agony Cave. Interesting choice.
Did we get a peek at the pledge item there?
It was on there for just a split second. I couldn't see it. Yoshi's diving to Ice Rod Cave, just yielding 10 or 20 bucks, and Diesel and gets the Ice Rod.
Wow, both rods that early into the game.
I don't know. I'm regretting my call for trolling Kane now because I'd like to see maybe an early Turtle Rock dive myself now.
Let's hope Turtle Rock is not a pendant now to make it even worse. I mean, it seems like in V26, pendant dungeons seem to be paying way more off than before, so... Oh, the red tunic on Lake Hylia Island.
Yeah, getting a whole lot of protection already. Interesting. I'm having a hard time even seeing that Link blue outline in the blue water.
Oh no!
Oh! Yoshi taking the death using the fake flippers. Oh, that's going to be rough on him. Meanwhile, Yoshi looks like diverging away from fake flippering the hobo, going to check out Escape. Not a bad call, all things considered. We saw Diesel check it out earlier, so we'll see if Yoshi keeps on doing more here or ends up heading over the other way. Diesel about to be disappointed with his 20 bucks in Ice Rod Cave.
At least we're getting our Zora money together. That's always great.
It's true. Diesel already having his Zora cash together. We might see a fake flipper from him soon. Yoshi doesn't quite have the cash, but, well, he does now after that pull.
It's the rich tree seed. 80 rupees from one tree pull. That's quite a bit.
And they've each had access to 2 or 3 trees just in the little bit of running around they've done so far. So between that and all the rupees they got in Kakariko Village, definitely enough money to be able to get in there for Zora. Not that the seed's guiding them towards Zora, keep in mind. It's still technically, well, no, it's not locked because all you need is the Power Glove.
Diesel finding that red tunic. Going up to the hobo though.
Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu pulling the Titan's Mitt.
Wow. I mean, that gives us so much access now, so I'm really wondering where these players will go.
Hey, I'm starting to count down. If we can get a hammer and we can get hammer and whatever medallion will be required to open T-Rock, I'm pulling for an early T-Rock dive.
We just gotta find that moon pearl, and we have full Dark World access, which is great.
We'll see how long it takes Diesel to go in there. He's certainly found a lot of value so far, so there's plenty of options for him to go to. He doesn't have to go into Escape yet.
Yeah, it looks like he's taken the Eastern Palace play we talked about. Checking out the HUD.
Yep, we're going to see what Sriracha holds in his back shed. Yoshi making nice work of the fire rod so far, just tearing through the dungeon. And the flute scoop. We're going to see what the shovel holds. Looks like he's going to make a run almost immediate. Oh, maybe not.
Alright, it looks like we're gonna see what Eastern has.
It's hard to argue with this decision. Eastern does have quite a bit of value. The only thing that is left behind is the lamp, and if you know your dark rooms, you can get around that for a sequence break. So hard to argue with this call. You should be able to clear it out otherwise.
Yeah, and that one, well, 2 dark rooms aren't that bad compared to other dark rooms, so we should be able to clear this.
Yep, as long as you have a sword to help guide your way a little bit, at least for me, some players can do it without. It just makes it a whole lot easier. But yeah, these are not difficult dark rooms, and most players start with these when learning how to do dark rooms.
And they already got the bow, they can completely clear the dungeon. It's a crystal, there's definitely nothing wrong with that decision.
Nothing wrong whatsoever. Already getting the map and the compass for Diesel. That means most of the rest of the chests and items are going to be actual items here, which is going to be good news. We'll be able to see what value we can get out of here.
There's a big key.
Yep, so this treasure chest, the Dark Room treasure chest, and then the Armos Knights are all going to have an item, since there are 3 items that are located in this dungeon.
Oh!
Moonburl! This was a good call for both of our racers. Excellent.
The only bad thing about that is that Diesel is probably gonna head into the Dark World now and might miss out on these Titan mids for quite a while.
Well, does he actually have Dark World access? Because he doesn't have the Titan's bit. I mean, there's nothing. He doesn't have the hammer. He
True.
can get up to, Hera, or at least to the Death Mountain warp at the top, but can't really do much with it after that.
True. It's actually good for him then. Because when he gets his mids, he will know.
He'll know exactly where to go. Meanwhile, once Yoshi picks that up, he'll know exactly where to go too. Meanwhile, $50 from Diesel.
Or it might lead him to Aghanim, that's true. Maybe he thinks that Aghanim would be required for Dark World access now. We got a Master Sword and we got the cape, so...
It's possible, but I don't know if we're going to see that. Most runners will try to hold off on doing Dark World access or doing Aghanim until they've exhausted most of their other resources. And he hasn't even checked Escape yet. No lamp. Yeah, this is going to be lampless right now, which he has the fire rod, so he can still at least light some way if he needs to, and he does.
And I'm wrong. We totally don't have a Master Sword.
Yeah, and Flaffykins makes a good point here. Dark Room Aga with no lamp is not easy because there's no walls and you'll just fall right off most of the time. So he'll probably check other places first. Yoshi coming dangerously close to dying. Flaffy, you'll do Aga Dark, won't you? Calling you out. I know you can do it. Diesel making quick work of the Armos Knights, getting everything going, and gets the perfect and a mushroom.
It's fetch quest time.
It is fetch quest time. It's interesting because Yoshimitsu has the shovel and he hasn't checked that fetch quest yet. We have the mushroom, so we have all 4 fetch quest items between bottles and drugs and powder and flute scoops and everything.
Maybe that mushroom will make him think of checking both of them, because the seed's really giving him all of those. And Diesel didn't have any problems with Armos. Getting his first crystal and moving on to Kakariko, it seems.
Oh, he got his bottle, so he's making a special route check to come down here to see if Sick Kid will give him anything of value.
He's collecting his $20.
Meanwhile, Yoshi also making relatively quick work of Armos Knights. Diesel looks like he's on his way to check the back half of Escape right now. Or walk right past it. Okay.
Looks like he's going to turn in that mushroom, actually.
Again, not a bad play. We might see Yoshi do something relatively similar. Or he saves and quits. It's interesting because Diesel does have a lot of different options. I think he's running through the different options in his head to see where exactly he wants to go.
And there we go. Yoshi is actually checking the back of the escape.
Yeah, looks like Diesel's going to be setting up a fake flipper maybe to go up to Zora.
And we found a B bottle.
Another B, and Yoshi's going to try the dark rooms and escape. These are, despite being early on in the vanilla game, are not easy dark rooms to navigate. Yeah, that is interesting routing by Diesel. Because he has the mushroom, I would have personally routed that together and then gone up. Don't know if he realized he can get through with just that, but keep in mind Diesel is also going to be checking this waterfall, so and then possibly be routing it on the back route. So different routing decisions. Not saying that any are better or worse than the other. Just a little bit of love there.
The double love, even.
All you need is love.
And now we're gonna walk over the water over to Zora. And meanwhile, we still have Yoshi on that chest, and it's just a big 20.
Yep, not quite the value. He got the B in the bottle, but he already had one bottle. So otherwise, not a whole lot of value in the back end of Escape.
At least he doesn't have to come back for that and can just clear the front part of Hyrule Castle, and then he's done with all that area.
I think Yoshi actually already cleared the front part of Escape, so he's done.
Oh yeah, Diesel did go in, that's true. And it looks like Yoshi is gonna go into the Dark World now.
Certainly a pretty good play when you have the Moon Pearl and any access to the Dark World. Easy to head right on in there to see what you have. Hoping for a map check here to see where our two pendants are located in the Dark World. Arrow upgrade from the chest vendor.
And Diesel are actually turning in that mushroom now. So let's see what we get.
What do we get? In exchange for drugs, we get 20 bucks.
We just got paid for them. Alright.
Must not have been very good drugs if we're only getting 20 bucks for them.
And so far, the Village of Outcasts doesn't have anything of use for Yoshi yet.
So far, yes, but he'll have access to all of Southern Hyrule. He'll have access to Thieves if that ends up being a dungeon he'll dive into. So there's still plenty of value to be had. Diesel, meanwhile, looks like I hope he's going to escape before Aga. They're both in the same spot. We'll see. Yoshi making the South Hyrule route. And gonna grab Jeremiah real quick.
So Diesel's gonna grab his Titan Mitts quite soon as well, and then he's probably off to the Dark World as well.
I hope so. Stumpy just with a bit of love there.
Still no map check though. I really want to know about that Turtle Rock.
It's horrible that these runners just can't read our minds, knowing that we want them to do a map check, isn't it? Thank you, Soul Riser. Thank you. Yeah, Jeremiah was a bullfrog, but I'm cheating.
And we're going to see a hype cave.
Is it Hype Cave or is it the Cave of Mediocrity? We don't know. It's been kind of a mixed bag so far in this tournament.
Oh, wow, this is a little bit of hype, with Bombos at least.
A little bit of hype with Bombos. Ooh, I'm hoping Bombos is Turtle Rock. I'm still voting for an early Turtle Rock. I really want it. Yoshi saves and quits. Gonna bring Jeremiah back home.
And on his way, he's gonna check the... Oh, no, never mind, he's not gonna check the shovel spot.
Well, maybe he might. He might turn around.
He changed his mind.
That's fair. Meanwhile, Diesel's going to check the back end right now. And he gets $50.
So I wonder if Yoshi's sprite, how is it gonna look in the red mail? Is it gonna turn into red lines?
I think so, because he started out as the green outline in Link. So the outline color, I think, is what color mail you have, which means Red Mail Turtle Rock is going to look absolutely fantastic.
So let's hope he finds his mirror beforehand. So he might pick it up.
I've seen the Blacksmith twins with mirror before, which is super trolly because you can't get it in the original game. Oh, but they just give him some love. Diesel, meanwhile, going into the Dark World check. It's interesting. We saw Yoshimitsu do the South Hyrule route. There's our map check. Oh, Turtle Rock is a pendant with green pendant, and Skull Woods is the red. Thieves Town is 6, and Ice Palace is 5. Oh, Soul Riser. And we have the map check for Yoshi. You should have done that 5 minutes ago, man. Soul Riser, I will tell you this, version 26 has taught us one thing. It's that do the pendant dungeons. The pendant dungeons always have value in them for one reason or another. We see Diesel making an early check into Skullwoods.
Yeah, Skullwoods always seems to pay off with at least one progression item.
Again, that might just be confirmation bias talking, but it certainly seems in this tournament so far, Skullwoods and all the other pendant dungeons have just had a lot of value in them.
Where's item number 1?
Each runner checking different dungeons with so many chests in them, I'm having a hard time keeping track.
Yoshi's a little bit low on health.
Suryu asks, so Fire Rod wasn't technically required if Skullwoods and Turtle Rock are pendants? Not necessarily. It could have been required to get into Ice Palace, except for we have Bombos, so either Fire Rod or Bombos is required for that. But also, if there are any other required items that are locked into Skullwoods or Turtle Rock that you can only get to after using the item, then Fire Rod becomes required. So it's slightly more complicated than just saying Turtle Rock pendant, Fire Rod not required.
Meanwhile, Yoshi is making his way through Thieves Town slowly.
Yep, Thieves Town is always a nice early dungeon to get out of the way in Dark World, simply because it does not matter what sword you have when you fight blind. It's 3 hits per head.
Did Yoshi get anything of use in here yet? I didn't see it. Oh, he got Ether. So that makes it 2 medallions and a fairly high chance that he has one of those required medallions.
Yep, and depending, we know Meyer's going to be required. We do not know if Turtle Rock will be required or not yet. So at least a 66% chance each time that he has the required medallion. Diesel running out of magic, unfortunately. Maybe forgetting he doesn't have half magic and just letting flamethrower fly there. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu is about to go on his blind date. Get it? Blind date? No? Okay.
I tried to not laugh, okay?
Thank you for humoring me. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu does pick up the flippers standing next to Blind.
So which pun are we gonna get today from Blind? Some pizza or burrito ones? Who knows?
Meyer requires Ether, Bombos, or Quake. Ha ha ha.
Nice one. Blind is really funny today.
I laugh, but I'm easily amused.
And Blind goes down. And that's a second crystal for Yoshimitsu.
Yep, and it's one of the 5/6 crystals, so that much closer. Don't think he's going to make an immediate dive into Ice Palace, although, oh nope, can't quite do it yet. Does not have hammer. Or technically hookshot. There is some logic that's in Ice Palace that requires the hookshot to get past. And Bumper Cave, which is an option because they got the cape so early, only 20 rupees on top.
So since Diesel ran out of magic, he's back in the light world. And back to Kakariko.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. That deep in Skull Woods, there's just not a lot of magic there. There's not a lot of the other dungeons. If you need a lot of magic, they'll throw a full pot at you. Not here, unfortunately. Yoshimitsu looks like heading over maybe to Catfish.
Yeah, it seems like it. A quite early catfish check.
Well, Yoshi's already checked South Hyrule, so makes sense wanting to get all the overworld spots first.
So what are we looking for? Are we looking for the hammer for Pod, for sure. The hookshot for Swamp Palace. The flute for Meyer. And the cane for Meyer as well, right?
Flute for Meyer, cane for Meyer. Yes, although technically, uh, also keep in mind that Pod, Meyer, and Turtle Rock, although Turtle Rock isn't required, they all require the lamp unless you know the dark rooms. It's considered a sequence break if you can get past them without the lamp.
True, and we might even need the boots in case Desert Palace might be bootlocked.
Yeah, boots are one of those things, and of course, if it's up to chat, boots will wait until Ganon's tower, so nothing will be bootlocked until then when the big key is on the lamp there.
That would be amazing.
That would be terrifying.
I would really like a tile room, boots, and then, lamp, big key. That would be amazing.
Flaffykin says, this seat is bootless until boots. Yes, it
I think he's
technically
right.
is. Thank you, Flaffy.
So Yoshimitsu looks like he's going to pod, even though not having the hammer.
Yeah, you won't be able to beat Pod unless Hammer's in a vanilla location, but there's still a lot of things that you can get, and you have the bow, so you won't be bow locked early. Might be a worthwhile play here. It's definitely a risk one way or the other.
Pod had some quite items. Quite some nice items so far.
Yep, I've heard Pod referenced a couple times as the mullet dungeon. With all the keys that are in the front, it's business in the front and parties in the back.
Indeed, yes. That's how it feels in Pod.
Get our first chest in Pod, and it's the key. So we're not bow locked, but we'll be able to move through. Full disclosure, I stole Mullet Dungeon from another commentator, so still boo me, but know that I wasn't the source of that one.
And since Go didn't work out for Diesel that much, he's off the Fuse Town as well now, which is a good choice.
Yep, he'll be able to find his flippers. These crickets are just hurting hard so much. It'll be interesting to see Yoshimitsu if he tries to navigate these dark rooms without the lamp. Except there's the lamp.
Well, there we go.
Someone, quick, clip that.
That's what we call commentator's curse, right?
That must be it. That is kind of a trolley spot for the lamp. If people are not used to being able to do dark rooms and they're waiting to go into some of these locations until they have lamp, that is a really trolley spot for the lamp, all things considered.
And the boots as well. Wow, Pod is paying off big time so far.
Yep, Yoshimitsu making the right call diving in here. And half magic.
Wow.
Oh, but he takes a death from getting blindsided here.
Did he already have a big key though to check that big chest?
I don't recall. I know he hasn't been down to the south part.
And meanwhile we have Diesel on blind.
Yeah, we let blind get to the south part of the room, which can make it a little bit trickier, but ultimately gets the kill.
And that's his second crystal.
Yoshimitsu, meanwhile, going to take a dive into this other part where there's a couple other chests. This part is bow locked behind, so sometimes this is the area that you have to have the bow in order to get past to make any progress.
Looks like Diesel is gonna go for the digging game.
Yoshimitsu picks up the big key. Digging game has been interesting. We've seen sometimes there's some item of values here more frequently, and I think Yoshimitsu was actually taking a death warp at that point, so that was an intentional death.
And digging game just gives us more boom, apparently 3 bombs.
A boom, 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 boom. A bang, 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 bang. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu going to check out King's Tomb with his newly acquired boots.
And Diesel's taking the smith, alright.
It's interesting. The longer that Diesel puts off going to Pod, I think the more Yoshimitsu will pull out ahead. Not that there's a crystal lead right at the moment, but the longer he has those boots that Diesel doesn't, the more he'll be able to make use of the strategy and just pull out a little bit further ahead.
And health magic is always nice to have. Oh my god, the hammer!
Oh my goodness, it's the hammer. So the hammer unlocks so much. He'll be able to check. Yep.
So Pod is actually required to be double dipped because of the boots.
Required double dip Pod. Yep. Soul Riser, yeah, thank you. The American dorky sounding dude is Vitasia, and the lovely Miss Faye is the lovely German woman here. We're new.
I'm that weird 4 a.m. person from Europe. And Yoshimitsu is releasing some bees to get one more blue potion here.
Might as well release the bees. You know, it's one of those safety strats when you know that you're not confident. It's an early game. You haven't gotten a ton of health so far. Always worth grabbing those blue potions, especially when you have as much health as they've been given.
And Diesel's taking the purple chest, which Yoshi didn't, so we're gonna see what that gives us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yoshi will be able to head back that direction to get the Peg Cave at some point here as well. So this route diversion is really taking an interesting turn. I'm hoping Diesel makes his way over and does that double dip and pod. Some racers like to hold off as long as they can on it, but that would be a mistake in this case. Oh, it's true. Yoshi does have a lot less health, so I was looking at Yoshi's health in reference to purchasing the potions. Oh, and it's interesting because Diesel picked up the chest, but doesn't have the mirror to just mirror over to it. So I think he's going to pick up Hype Cave here with the hype. And I don't know if you can grab it again and do a save quit. I don't think I've ever actually done that with the purple chest.
He should be able to grab it when he comes out, I think.
Well, when he gets out of this cave, yes, but I'm curious about whether he can save quit and the chest will be with him like the blacksmiths are.
Oh yes, you can save and quit with a chest. That works.
Okay, I've just never done it before. I've never seen it needing to be done. Yoshimitsu then taking a dive into Ice Palace, which is interesting. He had already half cleared uh, Pod, but instead of going back to Pod once he gets the hammer, is diverting over to Ice Palace. Interesting route decision here.
Maybe he's hoping something's here. At least he can full clear Ice Palace, right? And that's gonna be his 5-6 crystals, so maybe he wants to check Fat Fairy?
He should be able to clear it, yes. There, I think, according to the logic, there's, and I'm unclear about it, the specifics of it, so I'll need chat's help here. There's a couple treasure chests that I think are technically locked behind the hook shot, even though you can get to them. I'd
Yeah.
like some clarification on that, though.
I think you can bomb jump in one of the lower rooms and skip that requirement, but if by the logic it should be blocked by the hook shot as far as I know. Bad one room with all the jellyfish where you just spam the hook shot to get through.
Well, yeah, there's that, but there's also the room with the spikes on it that you hookshot over, where there's a skull on one side and the treasure chest on the other. I don't know if that's hookshot lock or locked behind either the hookshot or the cape, but I know that there's some logic that locks two treasure chests like that. Meanwhile, Diesel looks like I think we might have our first check onto Death Mountain, which really unusual having such a late Death Mountain check. Still no lamp though, so that's interesting.
I mean, they don't have a mirror and they don't have hook shots, so the east side is kind of not accessible to them, so it's just the old man and Spectacle Rock Cave.
It's true. It's just I guess I'm just so used to seeing an early Death Mountain check from so many of these races that it seems unusual to me.
The question is, what does he think he's gonna find here? Because by the logic, this would require the lamp, and he doesn't have the lamp yet.
He may be making a risky run, and that's the name of the game in Rando. High risk, high reward. If you can go someplace that you think your opponent hasn't gone, it will end up helping you in the long run. But I think at this point your opponent has access to this, and it's pretty easy to access, all things considered. I'd still be trying to get to places that are unlocked for you.
Yeah, the very first room in Total Rock requires the Keno Somaria right away.
Diesel saving and quitting, not finding anything of value in Spectacle Rock or the cave. So that play not helping Diesel at all.
And Yoshimitsu finding the big key right before the big chest. That's always nice to have.
It is, and he did successfully complete the bomb jump. So if he wants to finish this dungeon out, he can. Don't think, if I'm counting chests right, he hasn't gotten all the items quite yet. Diesel looking a little bit confused, wondering where else he can go. Might be heading back. Yeah, looks like he's heading back to Skull Woods to finish what he started there.
This time with full magic, so it's hopefully enough this time for him to clear the mummy room.
That would be nice. Still, no half magic. Fighter Sword Mothula is still a rough fight no matter who you are.
Even with 10 hearts and blue mail.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Mothula is one of the most difficult fights in this game because you just can't pattern it. He just flies around randomly. I think at this point Mothula has the last item. It's a pendant dungeon. No, I didn't see the map. I didn't see the burrito.
I think it was a compass missing, actually.
Yeah, okay, so the compass missing. So there's no item, and this is a pendant dungeon. What are you doing, Diesel?
Maybe he's going for that pedestal hype.
What's left to be on the pedestal, though?
And here we see that one room we mentioned on Yoshimitsu's side. I'm not sure if you can bomb jump that, but he's trying to take in death, though.
Interesting. And thank you, Lord of the Sims, pointing out Diesel hasn't opened the big chest, so that could be something. Maybe? And Diesel's really making a run at Mothula here, using Fighter Sword, just slashes, getting some damage in, not knocking him back into the spikes too frequently.
He's making it through, though, and he's killing Mothula. And getting the compass.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice kill using the Fighter Sword. A lot of people use spin strats there, but Diesel making it look easy with the Fighter Sword.
That was a really solid fight, definitely. And he's probably gonna go back and check the big chest now, I guess. In case he really didn't have checked it yet. Oh, he's thinking.
Yep, he's checked just about every other place in here. Makes sense that he would go ahead and spend the 20 seconds or whatever it takes getting there. Both of these runners at the 53-minute mark, we're still looking for that second sword. Fighter Sword is just not terribly useful on most of the bosses that are here in the Dark World, because the damage, I believe, is equal to Sword Beam, so it's effectively useless.
Diesel quits Go Woods, though. He didn't check the big chest as far as I could see.
Oh, he didn't. That's another interesting play here. Thank you, Flaffy, for checking that out for us. I appreciate you so much. Meanwhile, Yoshi making his way back towards Cold Stare.
I wonder if he will just clear the dungeon at this point and eventually come back later for that one or two last chests. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, if he needs it, he'll come back. Although he was running around for a while, so certainly worthwhile. Meanwhile, Diesel wondering where he can go, looking for that mirror. He thinks he is mirror locked. There's nothing he can get without it.
Yeah, he's losing more and more time due to these boots from Pod, unfortunately.
No, and he's making a dive at Ice Palace. Yoshi, meanwhile, on the Cold Stare fight, going to use one of his blue potions not only to heal up, but get his magic back so he can rely on the Fire Rod and not the Fighter Sword. And a wonderful fight for Yoshimitsu.
He's getting the small shield.
I mean, whatever helps.
That shield can save lives.
It's interesting. There was a race not that long ago that I commented on that one of the runners purposely skipped the fighter shield and then ended up getting the other two shields and then died multiple times on Laser Bridge. And I just kept thinking, if only you had picked up the shield, you would have been perfectly fine. Flaffy reporting back that Diesel did check the Skullwood's big chest, so not entirely sure why he even did that dungeon unless he thinks that this might be a pedestal required seat. Don't know what's left. Meanwhile, Diesel getting bodied by those penguators? Pengators? Is that what they're called?
I just call them penguins.
By the horrible slidey things with teeth.
I like that.
Yoshi now making the call. Now, Yoshi also doesn't have the mirror or the hook shot, so he's only going to be able to check a couple items. But he's also quickly running out of places to go. We'll see where he ends up going. We're still waiting on Diesel to check Pod, though. That's the difference maker at this point in time.
And unfortunately, it's a really huge thing, actually, with the boots being there. And I think it was the hammer as well, right?
Boots and Lamp were there, but
Oh, the lamps,
yeah, the hammer was in Bonk Rocks, which required the boots. So, yeah, I mean, it ends up being locked behind checking there. Yoshi going to take the opportunity because he has that and the cape going to check out Spike Cave here.
Oh yeah, true. Chad pointing out that the health magic was also in Pod, of course.
Absolutely. It was a great run, and the book is in the Spike Cave.
Everything's paying off for Yoshimitsu so far.
Yep, every gamble that Yoshimitsu is doing, we just need Diesel, buddy, go into Pod. This will mean that Yoshimitsu will be able to check the Bombos tablet on his way over to Desert Palace, which is a pendant dungeon, but again, we've seen so many things required. But Yoshi's not going that way. Looks like he might be heading over to finish off Pod.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, the dungeon is pretty much cleared. Just killing Helma Sword King and just be done with it.
So here we are. We are at exactly an hour into this match. We have Yoshimitsu with 3 crystal dungeons beaten. Both, it should be noted, both Dungeon 5 and 6 is done, so he'll be able to check the double-chested fairy here directly. SDiezal is behind, unfortunately, with only 2 crystal dungeons, and we know we're just waiting for him to make that pod dive. That's the real trick we're waiting on Diesel for at this point.
He can't have that much left though, so at some point he should take a dip to Pod finally.
Well, we hope so. We've not found the mirror yet, which is kind of big. We've not found the cane. We haven't found the hook shot. No silver arrow, so we could be looking at a silverless fight. We haven't found the flute. There's still so much value left. It'll be interesting to see where everything is, but the main lock right now is Pod.
And we're also still looking for the Master Sword.
Yeah, I mean, we've only found 1 sword so far. Fighter sword at an hour is rough.
I'm not sure if a Fighter Sword can even hit Ganon. I know you can do Master Sword spins, but I'm not sure about Fighter Sword.
No, Fighter sword, you won't be able to hit Ganon with Fighter sword, even with spins.
So Master Sword is definitely a required item, which we still need to find as well.
It is, but there are 3 different places for progressive swords. So usually, if people haven't found something by now, there's a reasonable gamble you can find it in Ganon's Tower. Now, if for whatever reason you push through all the way and you don't find anything in Ganon's Tower, then you take some time before fighting Ganon.
So your early, well, not so early Total Rock could still be possible.
Yeah, it's not as early as we'd like, but there's still some value that can be had in Turtle Rock if Yoshi doesn't have the Ice Rod, admittedly, because he hasn't checked Agnes Cave. But we're still waiting on Kane to really be able to break through and do anything.
Catfish giving him a big 20, but while we're still spitting out save and quitting out, he's not gonna take that.
He's like, nope, I spent too much time getting to you. I demand respect.
Collect your money back. I don't want it. And meanwhile, Yoshimitsu's making his way to Helmasaur King. Almost there.
Yep, very nice dark room there for the turtle dark room. That can be a challenge with everything running around with only a small cone of light there.
Especially when you already unflipped a certain amount of turtles, and then you use the hammer again and they flip back.
Yeah, it'd be a completely different story if you had butter or tempered sword trying to get through there. But with the fighter sword, you really have no other option but to smack them with the hammer again, which has consequences.
And Yoshi's switching to the bow here.
Yep, bow is a popular item once you get to the green crystal here. And Yoshimitsu with the Helmasaur kill.
And getting his 4th crystal.
It'll be interesting to see the play that he does here at this point. Where he's starting to run out of places for him to go without mirror. Let's see, you won't be able to get to Swamp Palace at all because you don't have the mirror. And even then, you couldn't do a whole lot without Hookshot. Might check Agnes Cave, might end up heading over to Desert Palace. Looks like there might be a treasure that he's looking to get one more of.
So Yoshi's going back in for that big chest, I think.
That's right, he did actually do it. Either a intentional death warp or he died in that dark room before. Meanwhile, I think we're starting to see Diesel might finally make his way over here. Oh, we're going to see some frustration slashes once he's in here and getting the value.
He's hopefully getting his boots quite soon.
Oh, and Yoshimitsu pulls the hook shot from the big chest.
Wow. Pod big time. Holy shit. This is huge. Pod essentially having like all items being worth. Wow.
Yeah, he had, let's see, the lamp, the boots, the hook shot, and what else do we have in there? Oh, half magic. Yoshimitsu immediately going up to Death Mountain, get this value that's up here, and he'll be able to clear out both light side and dark side Death Mountain. Maybe check Turtle Rock? Hmm?
I think if Tolrok would be like a red or blue pendant, I wouldn't mind too much, but with it being green even. And he still doesn't have the ice rod, unfortunately. Then I
That's
would
right.
probably go in and even kill Trinix, maybe.
Yeah, I might check Desert Palace because I have everything declared, and
Oh,
it's gotta be Kane. Shout out to Phantom Ryu with the Kane of Samaria.
alright, T-Rock?
Me Speedy Ice Rod was in Agonist Cave.
So imagine he already checked Agnes Cave and would have the ice rod now. He would go into Tolrok right away.
Oh, absolutely. There's no reason not to. Well, okay, the reason not to is that it's a pendant dungeon. But otherwise, I mean, I still, even with the pendant dungeon, it's the green pendant dungeon, you can clear it out. There's so much value to be had there. I would go ahead and do it.
But it seems like because he doesn't have the ice rod, it doesn't look appealing to him. At least not yet.
Possibly not. He might also be checking out Tower of Hera because this is also Crystal Dungeon, and he can hit everything else on his way back down.
Maybe he's even hoping for the ice rod being here. While the ice rod is only required for Trinex, so he can at least check the rest of the whole dungeon.
Yeah, but if you're already there, you kind of want to get it so you can at least check Trinex. Because once you're all the way in, you don't want to do it. Okay, no key yet. He got the big key already, I presume. Otherwise, he would be heading up top. King, Ice Rod is in Agona's cave. It's in the desert. It was the one place that SDiezal has checked that Yoshimitsu hasn't. And at this point, it's SDiezal's kind of only hope of catching up if Yoshimitsu keeps putting it off and there's something that's absolutely mandatory that's in Turtle Rock. But we're running out of that possibility very quickly. We do know that Flute is required because Misery Mire is a crystal, so we still need Flute. We still need Mirror, which is, it absolutely is mind-boggling that we're at an hour and about 10 minutes and we still don't have Mirror yet.
Yeah, and we might even need Quake, depending on which medallion we need for Mire.
Absolutely true. SDiezal's starting to pick up his value here. And unfortunately, Yoshimitsu, with the frustration pound with the hammer, will have to take a dive into that basement to get the second item in Tower of Hera. So we'll have a tile room here directly.
And SDiezal finally got his boots from Pod. And half magic as well. Checking, yep, I have a big key. Let's open that other chest. And getting the hookshot as well.
You gotta wonder what's going through his mind. Just like, what is this seed? Where those three items are all bam, bam, bam.
He must be fairly confused now. I mean, that death for Yoshimitsu actually came kinda to his favor, I think, because if you would have gotten hookshot, well, he would maybe do some other route or something like that.
Meanwhile, we see SDiezal now going over here to Death Mountain.
So we know that he has to check bomb rocks for that hammer. Question is how
Yoshi
long?
taking a lot of hits. Oh, and takes a death?
That's unfortunate. That whole room takes like 35-ish seconds, I think.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Yoshimitsu. It looks like he was taking shots to the face there, possibly trying to death warp out once he was done to be able to take a hit, but don't really know what happened. It gets the glitch going so he can sit back safety now.
I always like to do that as well. And you can just relax for 30 seconds.
Get up, go refresh your beverage, do whatever you need.
And meanwhile, Diesel getting the cane.
Diesel's making decent time. He spent a lot of time running around trying to figure out where he was. Now that he's got the items of value, he's playing catch up real quick. And the item of value is 20 rupees. Yoshimitsu backing out, not going to try the death warp this time. Diesel, instead of heading over to Tower of Hera, is going to hit Spiral Cave now. Yoshimitsu heading that direction, so we'll have a high five here directly.
Yep, Yoshimitsu's going in. I'm surprised none of them have shagged Total Rock yet.
I'm really kind of surprised too. It's my wish and my dream that they would, but I don't necessarily blame them for not.
Or at least checking the medallion and unlocking the teleport or something like that, but nope.
Both checking the backside of Dark Death Mountain, Super Bunny Cave, and Hookshot Cave. Yeah, Flaffy, I'm a little bit confused as to why he didn't check Ether Tablet while he was up there, and Yoshi missing the hookshot there.
Doesn't Ether Tablet require the Master Sword as well?
Oh, absolutely right. I forgot. Thank you for. But you can at least check to see if it has worth with your book. And Quake and Turtle Rock, which neither player has.
Wow.
So if you're Diesel, you are playing and running on the notion that you are probably behind because you delayed so long in going into pod. What's your thinking if you're Yoshimitsu there, Faye?
Yoshimitsu right now. Kinda hard to tell. I mean, it's an hour and 15 minutes in. I would probably be really worried about that mirror by now.
Yeah, that mirror is still trolling the heck out of us. Yoshimitsu still doesn't have the Ice Rod. Not that it's necessarily required if he's not going all the way to Trinex, but if Trinex has something of value, then it could be big. Diesel going to Bonk Rocks. We know this is value.
Alright, so these are almost catch up item-wise, except for the book.
Except for the book, which we haven't seen Yoshi do a ton of items for. We do see that Yoshi still has a significant crystal lead on Diesel, though, so it'll be interesting to see how this turns out so far. It's still anybody's race if Yoshimitsu takes his time or if something is hidden behind Trinex and he doesn't go and get Ice Rod for a bit.
So what if we find Quake and Desert Palace now, which leads us to Total Rock? And that gives us the flute for Mire. And that gives us a mirror for Swamp Palace.
It's possible at this point in time. We know Desert Palace hasn't been checked by any runner yet. It's a pendant dungeon. So it's possible something of value is there, especially with this version 26 logic. Lemming is asking, was there a pedestal check? No, there has not been a pedestal check. We didn't have... Yoshimitsu is the only one who's gotten the book yet. And Diesel's the only one who's gone up and actually fought Mothula. So there has not been a pedestal check yet.
It might happen now, though.
It might. Yoshi going ahead and going through here, following the meme when version 26 check Skull Woods. As we recall, though, there was really nothing of value in this, unfortunately.
True, and he doesn't even have a mirror to do the pedestal check for us.
Nope. He might be hoping that the mirror's here.
I wonder if he decides to kill Mothula as well.
It would be an interesting play. I know Fighter Sword Mothula still isn't easy, but you have half magic, you have the Fire Rod, so it could be easier, and it's certainly doable if you have a lot of experience. Diesel opting not to bomb jump, but we'll be able to get through this place a little bit faster because he has the hook shot, so he'll be able to use hook shot strats through this.
I mean, the flute and pedestal isn't that either yet, right? Technically, Total Rock is accessible if we find Quake somewhere, and Desert Palace is also beatable, so maybe.
It's entirely possible. What would we... would you rather see something in T-Rock or make him go all the way through to the pedestal?
I think I'm gonna stand behind chat here and gonna say pedestal.
I think so too. See, to get into the pedestal, Thieves Town doesn't only requires Moon Pearl. Skull Woods only really requires Moon Pearl and Fire Rod. And Turtle Rock requires the most. Fire Rod, Ice Rod, Cane of Samaria. Doesn't technically require Hookshot. Does require Lamp, though. So it's possible, of the items that we don't have, it maybe seeing a mirror on the pedestal?
That could also be possible, technically, I guess.
What kind of troll seed would this be if the mirror were on the pedestal?
I just really hope for that Total Rock, seeing how many items I got to get access to Total Rock.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And Flaffy pointed out my mistake. Mitts and Hammer are also required to do Turtle Rock. So all the items to do Turtle Rock have been found. So it's entirely possible that we have Pedestal Seed with the mirror on it. I'm looking forward to it myself.
Alright, chat, get that pedestal hab up. We might burst it, but for now we can be hyped.
Yeah, mirror or flute can be on it. Yeah. Linkshot says, would be equally rude if mirror was on Sarah McLaughlin. I'm presuming that means Sahasrahla. Yep, because Turtle Rock is green pendant, so either of those could be on Sahasrahla. And Diesel, Master Sword, finally!
Alright. So at least we can beat Ganon now.
That might be playing in the back of Yoshi's head because he didn't pick up that chest.
Yeah, he couldn't pick it up because he wasn't able to do that bomb jump there and died, unfortunately. So I wonder if he thinks about going back into Ice Palace at some point.
It's possible. And actually, I think a lot of it is because he didn't have he couldn't do the bomb jump, and he didn't have hook shot. Diesel actually waited to come in here until he had the hook shot to get past that.
And we are checking more and more overworld locations, but nobody's going to Desert Palace yet.
Yeah, it's really surprising that we haven't seen any Desert Palace checks. Yoshi has even avoided going over there for anything, not even checking Agonist Cave. And Diesel, in the meantime, making quick work of Cold Stare, catching up quickly.
And that almost brings us to the same crystals. Just behind on Pod.
Yep, just behind Pod. The book, yes. I know Yoshimitsu picked up the book. Where was that located again? Spike Cave, that's right.
Spike Cave.
Ooh. Yeah. Ooh.
I mean, they get 2 bottles, or even 3 bottles. They get the cape, they get half magic. That's all you need.
Oh, and here Yoshimitsu is going to finally get his ice rod from Agonist Cave.
And I'm pretty sure he's going to head into Desert Palace right after.
That would be a logical play there. Meanwhile, where's Diesel going? Oh, Diesel's going to be checking Double-Chested Fairy here.
This could be it as well.
This could be a big play for Diesel. Yoshimitsu has had both Crystal 5 and 6 for about 30 minutes now. Hasn't made a move to go check that. We'll see what he does. This could be big in terms of catching up for Diesel.
If this has a flute over mirror and Yoshimitsu forgets about it, this is going to be huge for him.
This could be hype. Yoshimitsu has had the lead for most of this, but it's entirely possible. This could be the swing that we're waiting for. And nothing. Double-Chested Fairy is a bust.
And boots required. Oh no, not required, but at least having the big key on the lamp.
Big key on the lamp to be able to get through. So boots required if it ends up being a pedestal seed, because this is a pendant.
And there's the 4th bottle.
Thank you, Chad. I'll be here till Friday.
The Double-Chested Fairy.
And there was the pun, because the Double-Chested Fairy was a bust, which is a vernacular term for bust in a woman's chest area in Badumching.
Yoshimitsu grabbing that key he forgot before going to the right side there.
Just a mental error there. Diesel, meanwhile, looks like he's going up here to Buldorm.
It's a crystal, and he can do it, so he might just want to get it out of the way. Oh, and there's the flute in Desert Palace.
Oh, pendant dungeons having all the value. Excellent. Smashy Book was at Spike Cave, so it's actually kind of tucked away a little bit.
I wonder, did he see all the items? Or did he just leave after the flute? Oh no, it was 2 items, right? Green goo and the flute. Yeah, he's seen all of them.
Yeah, Green Goo and the flute. And all rise for our Randomizer national anthem. Or, if kneeling's your thing, you can go ahead and kneel too. And Yoshimitsu going to immediately go check Meyer. Could be several things over here, Meyer, in the shed and in the dungeon itself.
Imagine this being Quake. Oh, it's Ether. Alright.
It's Ether. I would have loved it if it were Quake. Oh, and Diesel getting knocked off by Trolldorm.
So it looks worse and worse for a pedestal, but maybe T-Rock still has that mirror.
Yeah, mirror is still a possibility, so mirror pedestal hype. Looking forward to it.
And Diesel killing Trolldorm in the second try, getting his next crystal.
And going ahead and checking that basement, which we happen to know has no value, but it's alright, we'll let him check it. We'll see his disappointment. Lemming Ether Tablet was not checked, actually.
No, he didn't check it.
Diesel with the glitch going. Excellent work there. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu going through Meyer here, relatively quick place, but man, so no silvers on Vitreous and just Fighter Sword. This is going to be a rough Vitreous fight for Yoshimitsu.
Yeah, him not having that Master Sword is actually becoming more and more of a disadvantage.
It's going to slow him up, yep.
And we still gotta find at least one upgrade to beat the game, so...
It's not outside the realm of possibility for him to find something along the way, but it is interesting that we're already where we're at. He still has Fighter Sword. It's just slowing him way down.
An hour and 30 in, you must feel pretty weird still having Fighter Sword with 15 hearts. You're armed to your teeth and you don't, like, you have a plastic sword.
Meanwhile, Diesel is making the smart play. We know this is going to pay off. He's going to get his literacy.
And hopefully he's making his way right away to desert right after, catching up.
Yep, doing his save and quit. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu is going through the longest pause in the game.
Diesel's thinking. And going to his house. Oh, and there's the Master Sword we just talked about in the vanilla big key chest in Misery Mire.
Oh, looks like Diesel's on his way over to Desert Palace now.
He's
Diesel's
actually not
already
that
checked
far behind.
Agnes, yeah.
The only thing that's really making him fall behind quite a bit is Pod, but apart from that, he's not that much behind.
Yeah, we already know he's already mostly cleared out Pod, so he'll just have to run in and get it. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu making his way through Mire, which we know is also a crystal dungeon.
One thing that can make the difference, though, is Diesel probably having Tempered Sword when Yoshimitsu is still gonna have the Master Sword eventually on Ganon.
That's a big difference, but it's not quite as big of a difference as still having Fighter Sword for Yoshimitsu. He'll be able to make ground. And there's the Quake medallion.
Quake. Here we go. Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock hype.
So now it's literally all open. It could really be the pedestal, or it's gonna be in Turtle Rock directly. Or somewhere else.
It's entirely possible because they absolutely cannot get into Swamp Palace without the mirror. So they can't check Swamp Palace. So it's possible after Yoshimitsu goes ahead and clears out Mire, he may check. You see, I don't know. If you're in his shoes, would you go ahead and check Skull Woods, even though you know nothing's there, just for the pedestal, in case the pedestal's there? Or would you just head on up to T-Rock and get it done?
I was about to say, in case it is really the pedestal, then Diesel's Diesel being behind is not that big because he already cleared Skullwoods. It doesn't take long, but it's something which could make up for the pot difference, maybe. But
in the meantime, though, he does back out of Desert Palace, so he would have to go back and clear Desert Palace if it's a pedestal check.
that's the case for both players, though none of them cleared Desert, so that's at least something. And Diesel's gonna do the swag anthem right away, and probably heading into Mire right away after.
Oh, he's taking his time doing spin strats on Vitreous, using up all of his magic. That was, I mean, it was a long Vitreous kill, all things considered, but very clean for the items he had.
And Mire didn't have a mirror, so what is he gonna do now?
At this point, I think I'd go up to T-Rock just right away.
Did he even check T-Rock's medallion, or was that just Diesel?
I think that was just Diesel, but at this point he has all three, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but in Diesel's case, I would like clear Maya now and think, oh shit, it's Quake, and Quake was on T-Rock, and that would maybe push me a little bit more than not knowing it at all. But I think he's still gonna head up there.
Yep, we'll see where he ends up going. And what?
Maybe he's checking the Fat Fairy now?
That's possible. He hasn't checked Fat Fairy yet.
We already know it's just gonna be some love, if I recall correctly, and some money.
Yep, love and money.
So we're gonna need to see the double-chested fairy again.
Let's see, what other names can we come up? Double-chested fairy, Fat Fairy, Big Boned Fairy, future Jenny Craig spokeswoman Fairy,
Big Bun Fairy.
Baby Got Back Fairy.
I think anything
Sugar
else
mama.
would go not safe for work.
It is a little bit sexist, but when they don't even give her a name, we don't have a whole lot to go on, Seeker.
So Yoshi found out that the double-chested fairy didn't have anything for him.
Well, while we watch Diesel make his way through, and Yoshimitsu, we're not quite sure where he goes. What would you name the double-chested fairy? If you could just give her a name, chat, because we're talking about this in chat right now. What would her name be if she had to have a name? Morgana, Esmeralda, Debbie, Roseanne, Bomb Fairy, Pyramid Fairy, Perry the Pyramid Fairy.
Pedestal hype. Yeah, that's a good name as well. I like that.
The fairy's name is Pedestal Hype. Samantha, Janet, Jugs.
I'm gonna go with Mary.
Second, Debbie. Whenever I see Perry, I just think of Perry the Platypus. Doobie doobie dooba, doobie doobie dooba, Agent P. That might just be an American thing, though.
Yeah, we gotta name the waterfall fairy as well. That's true.
Meanwhile, Diesel, getting back to actually commenting on the race, Diesel picking up his tempered sword.
And he's gonna be about to find his Quake.
Pauladine. I like that. I like Pauladine because she gives the butter sword. So Diesel did check Turtle Rock and knows that it's going to be played. Does that encourage you to head up there directly after going here?
I mean, I'm already here. I would probably go after checking that tablet. He's probably gonna check now.
Yoshi going up here to check Ether. We are quickly running out of spots for Mirror to be. The pedestal hype is still alive.
Imagine them finding out it's pedestal seat at 2 hours in.
Just some money in Ether.
Wow. Oh yeah, he checked pedestal.
Oh,
True.
he did. He did.
We forgot
That's right.
that in the fairy naming hype. But T-Rock is not dead at all.
Nope, but it looks like that's where Yoshimitsu's heading. Turtle Rock for Mirror. And after that, it's go mode.
Gomom Swamp doesn't take too long, so that's pretty neat.
Or, yeah, I mean, it could be Turtle Rock to Sahashala. Link shot. Ag. I don't think that's short for Argent. I think it's short for the Latin word for silver, although that may be Argent. Like the chemical formula for silver, which is an element, is Ag. I know Demler in chat is a chemist, so she can correct me on that. Meanwhile, Diesel does end up killing Vitreous. Flaffy, yeah, they did check powder.
So I wonder if Diesel's gonna go for T-Rock as well now, or if he is gonna go and finish up Pod first.
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he is still behind on Pod. Meanwhile, Yoshi's in T-Rock.
He's going to Thieves Town. Okay.
That's an interesting play.
And Yoshi getting free keys out of free chests so far. Wow.
I guess he didn't get to check the big chest and the no. Oh, he's checking Peg Cave, which Peg Cave hasn't been checked. Was it?
I think it was just rupees or something like that.
That's right. We did see Yoshi check it earlier. While we're going through, and Yoshimitsu is dealing with this, with these chain chomps and getting absolutely bodied so far.
Taking the death.
Taking a death. Yep. Bat's been checked. Let's give these runners a follow. Yoshimitsu and SDiezal. Diesel behind, but quickly catching up. Yoshimitsu with the lead, but making his way through Turtle Rock. Both runners still trying to find this mirror. Give them both a like, a share, a follow. Also, my wonderful co-commentator, Fade, please give her a follow. Isolated999, our tracker, and our wonderful restreamer, Clifford. We could not do this without any of you guys. Thank you so much.
And same applies to Vitasia.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You don't have to leave yourself out.
A mirror!
Oh! And he's using it right away to piece out of T-Rock.
Nope's out of there.
There it is.
That's got to be slightly frustrating for you, though, if you died in that room and the mirror was right there, so once you get back to it. So that's a little bit frustrating.
Have a dev right before it, yeah.
Flaffy, it was in Chain Chomp room. Yoshimitsu immediately making his way back. Gonna do a quick clear of Swamp Run, Swamp Palace, because Yoshimitsu is in go mode. An hour and 43 minutes, 44 minutes for Mirror. That's a rough seed. I don't care who you are. Yep, he will be going for Silverless. It will be interesting if he doesn't pick up Silvers or another sword upgrade. Yoshimitsu could be looking at a Silverless Master Sword Ganon. Meanwhile, Diesel does have the Tempered Sword. That's a difference of 12 swings to 24 swings. It's entirely possible if they have to do Silverless Ganon that Diesel can catch up on that alone.
No, Diesel, don't.
Oh no!
You've been so close.
Oh, he was gonna go. He's checking pedestal real quick to see if it's gonna be required.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Which I don't necessarily blame him, because you want to know if you have to go all the way through Turtle Rock. Although, if you pick up the mirror at some point anyway, Flappy's rooting for another tie. I would be ecstatic for another tie, honestly.
That would be amazing. So you're 1 hour and 50 minutes almost in, and you still have to clear that Swamp Palace. Yeah, Swamp Palace. What am I saying? And you found that mirror so late. What would you think right now?
Honestly, if I'm in go mode, I'm going as quickly as I possibly can. I'm not opening anything I don't have to, except for one or two chests that are literally along the way. I'm a little bit confused as to why Yoshimitsu dropped down and got that one chest there. Um, I'm going as fast as I possibly can because I think I'm behind.
He definitely wants that small upgrade to make the fight easier and faster.
Possibly. We'll see exactly what ends up happening once he's in Ganon's tower. Meanwhile, Diesel going to make his way through up to Turtle Rock.
From that death alone, Diesel can catch up like 1 or 2 minutes maybe. If he doesn't die to chain chomps.
I mean, there's chain chomps not to die to. There's certain items that Yoshimitsu still seems to be digging for. He didn't check left side, which is indicative that he knows he needs to make up a little bit of time here. But like this chest, I think is about the only one I would have checked because it is literally on the way, and he gets riot shield out of it.
What if he doesn't know Master Sword Ganon and really needs that tempered?
Ooh, well, I mean, Master Sword and Tempered Sword are no different. It's just the difference between 12 and 24 slashes. But chat just pointed out Diesel still hasn't done pod yet.
Well, with Master Sword you have to do spins in the last phase, while you can just use tempered. Oh no, you have to spin anyway. I'm dumb.
Yeah, you have to spend
Never
anyway.
mind. I'm so thinking of silver arrows because usually you have them, and well, at least most of the times.
Yeah, and chat's right. Silverless Master Sword Ganon is a pain. No two ways about it. There's a lot of damage that gets out. I doesn't look like he's still rocking the blue mail, even though we know where the red mail is. So he take quite a bit of damage for Ganon. It has the potential to be really rough on Yoshimitsu, and Diesel. We've seen him have the capacity to catch up. So this is still anyone's race, even though Yoshimitsu is about to be in Ganon's tower here directly.
I hope Diesel will realize he's in go mode the second he picks up that mirror.
I do too. I would really like to see a strong go mode out of Diesel.
And when he knows it's just a fast pod and just Swamp Palace in actual go mode because he has Tempered Sword and then catch up.
Yep, Yoshimitsu struggling a little bit there with uh, Argus, but getting his crystal, and he is officially on his way up to Ganon's tower. Ladies and gentlemen in chat and other non-binary individuals, get your guesses in. Where is the big key in Ganon's tower?
I'm gonna go with Tire Room. So 22 or I don't know. What would it be? 3. If you go right side first and check it.
I think if you go right side first and get it as soon as possible, it's 3.
So for me it's either 3 or 22.
I've been checking, saying the fire bar room, so I'm gonna stick with that on the left side. Yoshimitsu making his way up. Diesel going right to Argus. We'll see how quickly he can go mode the Swamp Palace if he checks any of the extra chests or just does it.
I mean, there's also a possibility of Yoshimitsu doing the whole left side and Diesel just winging the right side and finding the key. That could also make a huge difference.
It very much could. We'll see. Diesel, yep, go moding it, not checking anything he doesn't need to. If I had to guess, just watching these two players play, it seems to me, and I don't know what your feelings are on this, Faye, it feels like Diesel is the more technically proficient runner. Like, he just seems to get the little things to make the runs faster. Yoshimitsu just had better routes this time and made that pod jump early. Does that sound about right to you?
I think Yoshi's gamble just paid off more, yeah. While Diesel is being quite consistent with execution and overall. Like, he's not making bad decisions or anything, he's just having bad luck with them.
It is what it feels like. So, right side check gets a couple keys. Is he going to stick with the right side? And he is. Yoshi going full right side to start.
Alright, so if it's on the left now, it's anyone's game. How long will that pot dip take Diesel, though?
Probably a couple minutes because it's a little bit far back. But we'll see how quickly Yoshimitsu can get through right side. It's not the easier of the two runs. Diesel now on Argus, and because he has that tempered sword, single slash, so he'll be able to make quick work of these clouds.
Yeah, just that sword makes actually quite big difference in time here. And no big key for Yoshimitsu.
No big key. The tile room hype is still alive, though.
That means Diesel catching up with every second. Is he still gonna make it? Yeah, he's still gonna make it in time.
Yep, that should be fine. We still have Diesel needing to go over and clear out Pod, though, so he's still behind, but he's catching up more and more, though.
It looks like Yoshimitsu is going straight to Amos.
Yeah, kind of the long way around to get to Ice Armos, making a gamble that maybe the big key's going to be here, and it wouldn't matter if he went right or left side first, as long as he got the Ice Armos. So, another gamble from Yoshimitsu. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Hey look, Bob is alive.
And Bob is dead.
And we're fighting the Bloomerang.
Bloomerang, best Bloomerang.
Yes, Diesel just did Swamp and is only behind by Pod now, and literally only has to kill Helmasaur King.
Yoshi having kind of a rough go at Ice Armos, though, unfortunately. Whew, that was close for Yoshimitsu. Almost running out of arrows there. Yep, Yoshimitsu has to Master Sword Silverless Ganon.
And the big key is on the left side. Wow.
Yep, this could be big if Diesel follows the standard routing.
It's on the torch! We talked about that. And he's still going. Probably
he's still going. He's still trying to get an upgrade. Oh, no, he's just getting the key. So Yoshimitsu now committing himself to doing Silverless Master Sword Ganon unless there's something in a couple of these chests up here.
Alright, so if Diesel goes left side first directly, he's gonna get that key right away. That's huge.
It will be huge if he can make that gamble. The difficult part that's going to be for Diesel is still playing catch up. It's still anyone's game, though. Oh man, we've seen Yoshimitsu make some technical mistakes trying to get through this dungeon, whereas Diesel's been much more technically proficient. So if he makes the correct call there,
he's going back down.
Yeah, he might be going back down to farm up some items here. Not comfortable with Silverless Ganon. Master Sword Silverless Ganon.
I think he's looking for magic, or why is he killing enemies right now?
I have no idea. Oh, he won't have arrows for mimics.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course. The arrows on armor is making the difference. Uh-oh.
Yep, he had a rough go of it on the Armos Knights, missing several shots.
And now Diesel's right behind him.
Well, that was a convenient check there, getting full hearts.
And there's the arrow upgrade, but no actual arrows.
Diesel might be right behind him. This is getting hype, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and getting rock locked.
Imagine he finds silver arrows now.
If he finds silver arrows or tempered, this would be absolutely the luckiest thing that I think I've ever seen. Diesel playing catch up very, very quickly.
These are not the arrows you're looking for, exactly.
If you're both of these players and you haven't seen a dot done yet, you've got to know that they are, if not right in front of you or right behind you. It's just a close race right now. So you can feel that pressure start to tighten around him, see some mental mistakes being made by both players.
At this point, I would think my opponent would be at Ganon any second.
Yep, we're at the exact 2-hour mark right now, so if you haven't seen a dot done, you're probably thinking you're behind. But not both of these players making it very, very close.
So Diesel has 33 arrows, and if he goes left first, he has more than enough arrows for mimics, so he could pull ahead right here.
He could, and Yoshimitsu kind of making his way through the warp maze. Oh, he's checking right side. We'll see if he does standard strats. Oh, and getting lost.
Oh no, Yoshi. Bottom left.
Oh no, and Diesel's gonna go right side.
Oh no.
That could make the difference. It's still anybody's game if he can get through here relatively quickly. He didn't go into random room, picked up just 5 arrows, and then is going to mirror out.
And now he's going right again.
No, Diesel! Other way! We're telling you, man!
Alright, Yoshimitsu Part 2, going up a gauntlet.
It's still anybody's
Missed
game
still
if
again,
Yoshimitsu doesn't pick up silvers or another sword.
Oh my god, Silver's validation chest? Oh boy.
You guys are evil. Oh, Yoshi is just having a rough time with these arrows here. He has 3 arrows and he has 2 mimics. He can't, unless there's arrows in these. Nope, he can't beat this room either.
I hope Diesel doesn't go till Armors and just quits after these 4 chests.
Well, that's usually the standard routing people end up doing.
Yeah, because when you go the left side... Oh no, he's going through the portal.
Well, there's a key to pick up over here, so that's not unusual. Yeah, don't save and quit, Diesel.
Don't
That
save
was
quit.
risky. And he's going to see the big key and know he's behind now.
Where is Yoshimitsu going again?
He's still trying to farm up those arrows because he's only got 3 and he has another mimic cave to go.
He had 7 arrows and is down to 3 again. And now
Yep.
Diesel's in the lead. Oh my god.
And Yoshi with the 10 arrow pickup, so he'll be back on his way this way. This is absolutely incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Diesel with a Yoshimitsu with a 2 dungeon lead. Falling back behind, Diesel playing catch up with what an amazing race so far. Diesel making his way through the rooms. He's pulling out ahead right now. Yoshimitsu struggling still with these mimics. Diesel taking the invincibility strats here, opting not to go into the safety room, and the real gauntlet begins now. Yoshimitsu making his way slowly through that cannon room. Looks like he doesn't know about the safety strat of falling off the edge just so you can dash through there quickly. It's unfortunate not knowing those strats. Now he's getting plenty of arrows.
Maybe he's just trying to conserve some health, because he would still lose 1 health from doing that strat.
This is true. He is down to 3 hearts, and that would be a rough going of it. Meanwhile, Diesel's on the Land Mollusk fight and doing sword slashes with the Tempered Sword, doing his best there. Interesting he's not using the rods.
And up to the Wizard room. There are literally 2 to 3 rooms between each other.
Yep. If you're these runners, do you check these treasure chests up here? Because you don't have Butter Sword if you're Diesel, and you don't have Silvers, and you still have Master Sword if you're Yoshi. Do you end up checking these chests as you're going, knowing that there still isn't a dot done?
I think in Yoshi's case, having Master Sword, I possibly would because they're right on the way. In case of Diesel, I would say no. Just go straight. Go to the end. Get your 400 bucks. Don't go overstart. Oh no, it was the prison, right?
Yep, exactly. We'll see what Diesel does. He has plenty of keys. He doesn't need to do anything else. He's going to go ahead and check. He wants to see if there's silvers.
Alright.
Well, and if you do have silvers, I mean, that could swing. That's still a large difference.
I was trying to go with some Monopoly, yes, but I failed terribly.
It's alright. We, not the worst reference that we've heard, even on this stream, let alone in this tournament, so we'll forgive you.
I'm not sure if I want to know what's the worst one now. And meanwhile, Diesel was on Troll Dorm too, and...
Makes it quick work of him. I guarantee you I have the worst joke of the tournament so far. Hands down. I was asking never to say it again. No, bust is not it.
And the validation chest just having 50 more rupees. So no silvers for any of these runners.
Silverless Ganon is a go. Yoshimitsu is going to have to do Master Sword Silverless. Meanwhile, Diesel has caught up from being 2 dungeons down and is now on Aghanim ahead. No, Soul Riser, you do not want to hear the worst joke of the tournament so far. I've promised not to repeat it. So.
And that's 3 hits for Diesel, I think. Number 4 and 5. There we go.
Triple hit to end up, and he's bombing Aghanim. He's not seeing a dot done yet. He's excited.
Oh, we had a bombastic seat, right? So you gotta give it some boom.
Oh. Ooh. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu taking a hit, Troll Dorm knocking him down. Man, what a great breakfast advertisement. Everyone should know. I'm really hoping that the early AM race tomorrow has Ganon plugging breakfast. Yep, Yoshi falling apart in GT is the comment, and it's apt. Yoshi was ahead and running incredibly well, had a 2 dungeon lead on Diesel in this match, and just got to Ganon's tower, and it all fell apart, unfortunately.
I've never tried that before, and I don't know if I can do it. But I'll attempt it.
Diesel making his way. This is the fight that all runners practice constantly. Ganon in its various forms. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu at Aghanim.
And we're almost in phase 4 already. Meanwhile, he's still in Aghanim, and unfortunately having only that Master Sword. Silvers and Total Rock.
Oh.
Further in. Wow. Ganon, you troll.
That's not surprising. I mean, Turtle Rock was about the only place left for him, it felt like.
I wonder where it would have been. If it would have been the big key chest or something like that, not much further in.
Well, that'll be something. We'll have to load up the seed later to see where exactly it goes. Meanwhile, Diesel's on phase 3. Yoshimitsu is just starting his Ganon fight. About Yoshi's only shot at this point in time is if Diesel gets knocked off and then just has a crazy run.
Master Sword Ganon is just so many spins.
You spin me right round, baby. Like a record, baby.
Definitely.
Right round. Meanwhile, Diesel getting the kill. GG SDiezal with an amazing two dungeon come from behind victory over Yoshimitsu2772.
And he's finishing with an official SRO time of 2 hours, 12 minutes and 39 seconds. GG Diesel.
Well done, Diesel. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu is
And
working
as you
on
can
that
see,
Master
he is
Sword.
really sorry. He is sorry.
We're going to try to get Diesel in here for an interview. I'm sure he's just resting and relaxing. That was kind of an intense run for Mr. Diesel. And he goes, SDiezal goes to 2-0, I believe, in the standings. Yep, in Group Z, we have, Diesel is going to 2-0 with wins over Yoshimitsu and Jesus the Frog. Meanwhile, Yoshimitsu will fall to 0-2.
That was just really unfortunate. It all came down to Ganon's Tower in the end and the Master Sword.
It really does, and I think it shows you how important it is to remain calm and collected, even though you might think you're ahead. GG here, Diesel. How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I didn't play nearly as well as I should have, but I can see as close as I am, and as close as he is, that it was a pretty close race to the end there.
It was incredible.
Well, and the real thing is, you were playing behind most of this race. Yoshimitsu actually made the early dive into pod, which you delayed for as long as you could. He had, at one point, a 2-dungeon lead on you.
Oh, wow.
And he had like boots for like 25 minutes at least before you, because you didn't take that dip into pod.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I figured I got boots later than he did, and as soon as I found boots, I was like, well, that's a good chunk time lost there.
And another thing that really paid off in the end was you waiting with Ice Palace until you actually had the hookshot and getting the Tempered Sword, while Yoshi unfortunately never could reach that chest and died bomb jumping to it and ended up just having Master Sword.
Oh, that I was gonna say he's fighting Ganon with Master Sword right now. Yeah, I actually went in, like, I tried to make an early gamble into Ice Palace before I had Hammer or Hookshot, and I got as far as I could to the big chest, and there was nothing. I figured it was worth a gamble since I knew the only place left to go was Pod after that. Like, there was nothing else left. So, I knew when I got into Pod and I found, what was it? It was Hookshot, something else, like back to back to back. It was like 3 items right in a row.
Yeah, it was Half Magic, Quake. No, not Quake.
Yeah, it was like Lamp, Hookshot, Half Magic, and going through here. Boots. They were
Boots from Pod. Yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, as soon as I got everything in there, I was just like, well, I knew this would be the winner, but of course, because it came down to my last, like, there was nothing else left to do. So
you literally catched up in Ganon's, like while he was in Ganon's tower because he was farming for arrows because he ran out on arrows on ice armors.
No.
So he was up on the gauntlet, realized I don't have enough arrows, and then went down again, farmed some arrows, and in bad time you catched up slowly.
That is terrible.
And you both actually started going on the right side, and we were just yelling at you from this side. It's like, no, go left. It's right there.
I've been getting cursed lately because if I get a small key in the first two chests, I always go right side. But in this case, I got two smalls, so I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going right side. Then I got wall mastered, and I'm like, I could go left side now, and I'm like, nah, I better stick to right side just to be sure. And then I screwed up the right side once, and then got it the second time, and then didn't find it in the first 4 chests there. And then I found it on Big Lamp. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
And that's GG for Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu finishing the Master Sword, Ganon. Real rough. Master Sword silverless. While we're waiting on Yoshimitsu to get in here, Diesel, tell me a little bit, because it looked like you were starting to go up to Turtle Rock there, and then you stopped and wanted to do a pedestal check. What was going through your mind there?
The reason I did that was if it would have been faster to do a ped check before going deep into, like, say, T-Rock than didn't have to, like, go through, like, say, Mimic Cave. Well, I couldn't do Mimic Cave because of the mirror. But I wanted to make sure because what was the other pendant dungeon I didn't do? It was Desert, and I already did Skull Woods on accident. Like, I went back to Skull Woods thinking that I still had an item to get, and when I killed Mothula and it dropped the compass, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I lost count of my items. So then I wanted to do a ped check before T-Rock so that I would know if I was going to have to full clear T-Rock to the end, or I could just end up looking for it. So.
And here we have Yoshimitsu. GG, Yoshimitsu. How you feeling?
Thanks. I feel pretty terrible after that. Getting stuck without arrows in Turtle Rock really messed me up.
That's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, we were. I'll tell you what. You made all the right choices going into it. You had, you were way out ahead, and then it just looked like something happened in Ganon's tower. It all came unraveled.
Yeah, like that whole race, I just moved, so me and a new roommate, have all our TVs in the living room. So I was in the living room, and he brought a friend over. I was so distracted for the first, hour and a half.
Oh, man.
That's why I kept running into walls and, stopping.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to race under those conditions either.
Oh, it was bad early. Later on, I kind of got it together, but I don't know. Lucky pathing got me that time.
Definitely the right choices. Definitely.
I made some terrible routing decisions, like just double dipping into areas that I had no reason double dipping into, and just it took me forever to get into go mode. I think I got into go mode at I want to say it was 130 something, 140 something, or no, it was even later than that actually.
I think mine was about 130 something.
Yeah.
That mirror.
That mirror was terrible.
Well, it was not quite as bad. We had a lot of people really pushing for pedestal mirror until we had
and that's why I went to go check it before T-Rock. I'm like,
yeah, me too.
If this is pedestal, I need to know right now.
Well,
I was the same way.
I'll tell you, Yoshi, you had a sizable lead on Diesel there for a long time. You made the early dive into that really important pod that ended up just having so much value there in the back end.
Yeah, I didn't expect pod would be that crazy, but I don't know, I just felt like going into pod at the time, since I was already on that side of death, Dark World. And having it give me the, I think it was the lamp, which led me straight to the hammer. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, lamp and boots and half magic, and then here's the real trick on which ended up hurting you in the end. You didn't get the hook shot, or something ended up happening with the hook shot where when you went to Ice Palace, you couldn't clear out Ice Palace, and that's where another sword was. So Diesel
Oh,
had
Yeah.
tempered the entire time while you were doing Master Sword, and it was. We thought that might make a difference late in the game, but he really was able to catch up there at the end.
yeah, that definitely made a big difference. If I'd had a 3rd level sword, my Ganon fight wouldn't have taken like 15 minutes.
Yeah, you guys were high fiving in Ganon's room right when Yoshimitsu was starting the fight. Diesel was starting phase 3.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, I know. I saw that dot done like right before I got going against Ganon, and I was like, well, it's close.
Yeah, I mean, at over 2 hours, you must have fought like any second to see that dot done, I guess. At least I
Yeah.
did.
As soon as I was in go mode, I was just waiting for the dot done to show up. Like, oh, I took forever to get to this point. So
Yeah, I was at the same point. I was like, when I was sitting there re-clearing dungeons and going into Misery Mire and full clearing and just going
Yeah.
everywhere, I was like, where's that dot done?
yeah, it definitely gives you a sense of urgency when you feel behind the whole time. So you're definitely taking everything into consideration, like every decision you make, movement wise, execution, just everything.
Yeah,
So.
my execution was not great that game.
Ugh, yeah, mine started out bad, but once I got that feeling you get when you know you're behind, I just like I kicked it in. Like, all right, I have so much time I need to make up for it because I screwed up so bad. I ended up going to Skull Woods like twice when I didn't need to, and I just made some really dumb routing decisions. But
Ouch.
luckily, I finally found that mirror when I did, and was able to do everything.
Yeah, when I found out that Quake was in Misery Mire, I was like, I have a feeling it wants me to go to Turtle Rock.
I did the same thing when I found Quake, and then I full cleared Mire, nothing in Mire, and then it's like, yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I didn't even know what Turtle Rock was until I went to it.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, there's Quake. Thought so.
Yeah, I happened to glance over at it when I was up there, and I remembered it was Quake. And usually, when you get an item like that, it's telling you to go there. So
Yeah.
All right, well, one last shout out to both of our runners here, SDiezal and Yoshimitsu2772. Chat, please give these guys a like, a follow, subscribe. Also, shout out to my co-commentator, Faye, our tracker, Isolated999, and Clifford, our restreamer, and myself, Vitasia. That's going to be it for Randomizer for the night. We're kicking it back up on the secondary tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. We're starting with coffee early in the morning with Oyster SA versus Basketbot in RM. I'll be calling that with Dustin, with BBB Kermit on tracker with that. The main schedule will get running at 1 p.m. with El Magus versus Zelda. Really looking forward to all the matchups that we have going on tomorrow.
Thanks for having me. GG, man.
Hey, GG, man. And thanks everybody for commentary, restreaming, tracking. Thank you guys.
Hey, thanks for running Diesel. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Signing out, my name's Vitasia.
My name's Fiane, and thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.